Welcome inside Sun Life Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined this time by Patriots contributor for WEEI.com, Ryan Hannable. We are undercover, Ryan, because we have a typical South Florida monsoon going on behind us, late afternoon monsoon. But one thing is for sure, there was no cover for Tom Brady and the Patriots here on Sunday afternoon. They got their doors blown off, really, 20-10. Yes, they managed to tie the game 10-10. But physically, I was shocked at how the Patriots were really pushed around on both sides of the ball, but obviously their offensive line had a very difficult time today during a 20-10 loss protecting Tom Brady.
Obviously, the big concern is Brady after the game, especially with that ankle injury after he didn't leave the game, but he was clearly affected by it, not moving around very well after the game. We both saw him in the press conference after, not moving around very well, but that's obviously the biggest story of the game right now is Brady's ankle injury, I would say. And like you said, the offensive line really didn't do their job today.
Mike Reese of ESPN asked Brady specifically after I had asked what happened on that play to Brady. He told Mike Reese, yeah, it's a little sore. And that has got to concern Patriots fans because, no, he was not limping badly off the podium postgame, but he certainly was favoring the ankle. And we've seen ankle problems before. We're not saying that this is what Rob Gronkowski had heading into Super Bowl 46 in Indianapolis, but still, Tom Brady had something affect him on Sunday that it's got to concern you going into the playoffs.
No, anything with your star player, Tom Brady, no, any team doesn't want their quarterback getting hurt. After seeing this year, that's been the story of the league. Quarterbacks getting hurt, key players getting hurt, and that's the number one guy on your team that you don't want getting hurt going into the playoffs, and that's what happened today. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to miss any time or it's a major injury, but he's clearly was favored. He's clearly not 100%. I mean, hopefully the 1 week off will be good for him, but it's not a good sign for the Patriots.
No, it's not. And obviously the Patriots offensive line had a very difficult time. I think Tom Brady was hit upwards of 11 times in this game. He was sacked a couple of times, strip sacked like he was at the end of the season opener in 2014. Had a lot of those similarities, but I was just disappointed in the way the Patriots offensively came out and attacked the Dolphins. You knew coming in that the Patriots wanted to attack the run defense because the Dolphins were giving up 130 yards a game on the ground. That ranked 30th in the NFL, but they couldn't generate anything really for Steven Jackson.
Yeah, obviously that's what they wanted to establish coming in, is get Steven Jackson going, with his second game back, probably his first full game of action, get him going for the playoffs, and he really couldn't get much going. The offensive line didn't do him any favors. He talked about that, he got his stamina back, but he wants to see, the film with how the line protected and how he cut it and reacted to the defenses. So from that aspect, it was good to get him some carries, but I think he wanted to do a little bit better with them. So I think that's one of the things to look for going to the playoffs is how the run game is going into the postseason.
We stood at Gillette Stadium earlier in the week and we said, there can really be any way the Dolphins win this game because we figured, Ryan, that the Dolphins were in pretty much golfing mode, as you said. They'd have their tee times all set for Monday afternoon or even Monday morning after this game, but they were the ones who came to play. And I think that mentality is something that has to be addressed in that locker room, in the Patriots locker room, before they even start thinking about really preparing for the playoffs.
Well, hats off to the Dolphins. You got to give credit to them. They came out to play today in a game that really didn't mean anything to them. So you got to give them credit first of all. But then, to your point, I think Devin McCourty spoke to it. They need to have a little sense of urgency this week in getting better. Not necessarily, with the postseason and their seeding, but they need to have a sense of urgency of getting better and getting back to the basics because the last 2 weeks aren't going to be wins in the playoffs. They're going to be losses. They need to definitely play better.
McCourty told you and other reporters that they have to hit the reset button. We talked to Bill Belichick, and predictably, Bill was not in a very talkative mood. When I asked him about the offensive line, he said, we all have to play better. We all played poorly here on Sunday afternoon, and he's right to that extent. But the Patriots, if this game showed anything to me, it showed that Sebastian Vollmer may be the most important player who wasn't on the field who really needs to get healed quickly.
Yeah, that's another one. But then I think you can also make that case for Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola getting back to full strength because that's when Brady gets his quick releases out in time, and that just nullifies the offensive line. So I think with the offensive line's poor play, they can be made better with the addition of Edelman because Brady can get the ball out quicker. And that's what we saw earlier in the year with the same group of offensive linemen who had better success. So maybe getting those guys back fully healthy could benefit them, but I think to your bigger point, they need Sebastian Vollmer back for sure.
All right, we know what the playoff matchups are going to be to a degree. We know the Pittsburgh Steelers are in and the New York Jets are out. How much did it shock you that the Jets lost in Buffalo and the Steelers beat Cleveland in Cleveland? I don't think either result really surprised me that much.
I mean, it's surprising, but not really at all. I mean, we kind of thought the same thing would happen when we talked after the game last week in New York with how excited the Jets were and how, they thought they were in the playoffs. And then, as you can see, things can turn dramatically in 1 week. And give credit to Rex Ryan and the Bills. It's a good win for them. And like the Dolphins here today, they played spoiler too with nothing to play for.
Yeah, and now we do have to turn our attention, or will turn our attention now, to the defensive side of the ball. Patriots had several players who did not play today. Rob Ninkovich did, and as you point out in your 10 fun facts going into the game, that extended his streak of consecutive games playing, the longest of any active, second longest behind Brady on the Patriots of consecutive games played. But several players did not play, and I just wanted to get your impression on who they really missed the most. Was it Dante Hightower? Was it Chandler Jones? What did you think?
Hightower for sure. They got killed on the ground game, and I think Hightower is the major key from that. He really has made a difference all year, and not just this game, but the other games he's missed too in terms of the run defense. So I think when you look at the run defense, he's most important. Chandler Jones, I think Chandler Jones made a big difference, but Geno Grissom took his place, which obviously isn't really a big. That's a downgrade from Chandler Jones to Geno Grissom. But also Rob Ninkovich and Jabal Sheard had to play more because of that. So maybe their play was a little bit affected by not having the rest that they could get with Chandler Jones back. So I think obviously getting Jones back, he helps not only the Patriots defense with his individual play, but also as a whole to get some guys some rest.
They also got Devin McCourty and Patrick Chung back.
Yeah, we asked McCourty after the game how he felt, and I don't think he's 100%. I think they saw last week with what Ryan Fitzpatrick did without Patrick Chung and Devin McCourty in the secondary, so I think that he gave it a go. He did a decent job. They gave up some big plays, but I think getting him back and Patrick Chung back certainly helps defense, but I think the week down will definitely help him and Chung getting back for the playoffs because they need them both 100%.
Where would you rate the alarm level? We know where it is externally. Where would you rate the alarm level internally? You were in that locker room as I was waiting on Belichick and Brady, and I would assume that they're all pros. They know they're capable of doing much better once the bullets start flying for real in the playoffs. Where would you rate the alarm level?
I would immediately go to Matthew Slater. He's usually the guy to go to for to get the sort of the pulse of the locker room. And like he said, they need to play better. This is unacceptable. So out of 10, I'd probably say 4 or 5. It's not total panic mode, but they've seen the results the last 2 weeks. That hasn't been there, and I think Matthew Slater's a guy who's been around the game long enough to know what it takes to win in the playoffs and ultimately win a Super Bowl. And I think he knows they need to play better. So it's not panic mode, but there's definitely some concern and some urgency to get better this week.
And that's where the veteran leadership has always come in handy for Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He knows which players to have on his roster when it's this type of season, time of the season, and that is pretty much nut crunching time because you've got to really know what's important, get your body ready, healthy, physically and mentally, and he has still the leadership in that locker room to do so, and that's why I think the Patriots will be okay. Yes, they have lost 4 of their last 6 games, and they finished 12-4 on the season when there was even some thought of an undefeated season. But 12-4 will have to do. Patriots do get their first round bye. They'll be able to get as many bodies healthy as possible going into the playoffs. The next time we talk to you after a game, it will be the weekend of January 14th and 15th at Gillette Stadium. The Patriots playing an undetermined opponent in the AFC divisional round. Wrapping up things, the regular season here in South Florida, it was the Dolphins 20 and the Patriots 10 inside Sun Life Stadium. Outside, it's raining. Inside, we're covered. He's Ryan Hannable. I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.